out to Ingalls to pick up the chain for the next project. Here we are at Ingalls and good to go. Got 80 feet, 5/16, and got 40 feet of 1/4 inch. And Ingalls took good care of me, so I'm gonna feature them on this video. There's the prices. Gave me an excellent price, so good deal. All right, we're back. Time to get ready for the next snowstorm. Looks like this is all melting, but within a couple days I got to get these chains done, so can maybe do some plowing if need be. All right, so today we're going to work on some snowshoes for the man Chariot, which you see back here. Tire chains are really expensive. We got a big snowstorm coming in about 2 days. I've learned the hard way that agricultural tires, even though there's good traction on this old tractor, don't do real well. You get about 1 inch or 2 of snow, everything turns into an ice skating rink. So we got to fix that. I'm going to make some tire chains. Went to Ingalls Hardware based on a tip from a friend of mine that they got good prices on some chain, and the guy Jim down there took real good care of me. So we're going to make these from scratch, and I'm going to go through the process and show you how we do it. So let's see if we can screw this up together. Let's see how long it takes, how many redos, and how many times I can injure myself in the process. Alright, so I started out with taking a measurement to see about where I wanted the chains to end up. So I got a 36-inch measurement across is where I want my ring to end up for my inside chain that holds all the cross members in place. And my overall height of this tire is about 52 inches tall and about 16.9 inches wide. So take that measurement and this measurement across the back, around the sides where I want it to start. I ended up with about 30 inches, roughly, about 30 inches across. So between those measurements, I took how many cross members I wanted to make total, and figured up the end amount that I needed. I bought 2 different lengths of chain. I ended up getting a 5/16 chain, which is a grade 30, and it's rated at 1,900 pounds. It's zinc coated, zinc plated. It's not great for welding. It will off gas. It's not good to breathe, so I'm going to not breathe that when I weld it. I'll be real careful with that. I didn't do any speed lengths because I wanted to try and save money, and I know it's going to be a little more labor, but we'll see if this is the most inexpensive way that I can figure out how to do it. So I got 1/4 inch and then 5/16. This is going to be the rings that make the inside and the outside of the tire. These are going to be the cross members that actually provide the traction. I'll start getting pieces cut and laid out, and we'll go from there. I think possibly the fastest way to cut this is going to be with a pair of bolt cutters. It's fairly soft chain. I've got it set out in 10-foot lengths. All right, the 4 links for inner and outer of the tires, they're cut. I'm gonna do 28 inches is the cross members. And then once I get all of those cut, I will start creating the H's and wiring them together. I'll lay them out and show you what that's gonna look like. Again, pre-cut length, count 9 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mark it, go from the other end, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Mark it. Do that to both sets. Take my short lengths that are open. Need to make sure this one's hanging on the bottom when I hold the chain straight, so that means I got to hook this one on the bottom. Can't twist it, hook it on the top one on accident. Link. This needs to be laid out. So I know that both of my connecting links aren't twisted. Lay that down. Make sure my other long chain is laid out nice and flat and there's no twists in it, and then hook my link. That way I make sure that the chain is in the correct orientation. I already made that mistake where it was not, trying to get in a hurry. I'm learning the system as I go, figuring it out on the fly, as most things in life. Then double check. Make sure that it lays out nicely, and it does, and we're good to go. Move on to the next step. Rinse and repeat.
2 hours later.
So it took me long enough to figure this out, but the short pieces that go in between the long runs across the tread, I was cutting a link straight off trying to save time, but I was wasting a lot of chain cutting all the way through like that. So now I cut the first link, open it. This is the link number 6 that I'm gonna cut completely or I'm gonna cut one side open, and I'm only gonna cut one side open here, and I'll show you why. So now I've got my open end that's already bent, an open end. This is already in the vise. It's saving me time. I'm going to go ahead and bend it now. Now when I disconnect, I've got one link that's already open and my 5, and I can move on. So I'm saving a link of chain every time I do it. Don't know why I didn't think of it in the beginning, but that's the way projects go. You kind of figure it out as you go. Next one's open. You got 2 more sets to make, and start putting together one whole tire worth of chains. Alright, time to bend the rest of the links open and start getting all the cross members put together. That's what happens when you grab a hot weld and you're not wearing your welding gloves. These are great throwaway gloves, and you can see the hot sparks go right through them. It'll burn your hands pretty good. So, smart thing to do is wear the proper safety equipment, and as always, I usually don't until after I do something stupid like this. Alright, so end up with about 4 inches from the inside of the rim to each one of those legs. This is going to hold the chains right in the middle of the tread so they don't fall in between, which they have a tendency to do if you don't have the H-style chain like this. That should give me good traction right down the center. And about the same thing hanging about 4 inches from the inside of the rim to the end of that chain. So that should work out perfect. When I get my chain that connects all these together, I'll get it laid out on the floor. I'm going to recut 8 of these per side and then see how much chain I have left. So lesson learned on the first set of chains that are complete. I tried to just build it one link at a time. So these H sections, I would do one crimp and then another crimp and then come to this side and so on. That didn't work so well, so I started working my way all the way down one side and then coming back the other. Well, I found out that that didn't work. It just took way too long. So this time on the other set of chains, because each one of these links that are open that I have to bend closed would end up falling and getting twisted, and it wouldn't lay out nice and flat as I was crimping them, and it would took way too long to reset. So I just went through and zip tied each joint so that that open joint doesn't fall off until I get to it to crimp. So if it works for you, if you decide to do this, I think the zip ties are going to work way better to hold this thing together all in one shot and stop everything from getting twisted up. And now I'm going to go crimp the rest of these joints and throw a tack weld on everything. like any project, as you get to the end, you get a system down to where you're actually pretty efficient and things go pretty smooth. Some of the links end up with a big gap in them. I just have to crimp them. Some come out perfect. Wire ties were a big success. Holds everything together real nice until I get the crimp. I can keep everything, once it's laid out in a pile, you know, laid out on the floor and organized. Now I know no matter what, the pieces are where they're supposed to be, and I can sift through the mess here, make my crimps much faster without losing my place. You can see how much of a mess this is. Chain everywhere, twisted and everything else. If I didn't have it zip tied in place, like I did on the first set, it took forever because I was trying to make sure nothing was twisted the wrong way when it was put together. If I lost my place, then it wouldn't come out right. It was a mess on the first one, so lesson learned. Now, cut the zip ties off each section when I'm done and moving through much faster. I just grab a new cluster of zip ties. This is night and day faster. Man, that first set took forever. But like anything, I'm learning on the fly. Never built a set of tire chains before, but like most of my projects, it's not like I'm an expert at it. I just take off at a full sprint and see what happens. Where did I go?
Three hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
All right, there we are. And it's done. It's nice and tight all the way around. Looking really good. I may add a couple more bungees to it. Obviously fine-tune the tensioning system because there's no sophistication there in tensioning system. But I'm ready to take it for a test run, see how they work. Looks good. And it's nothing but ice out there, so now let's see how it works. Well, got those chains done just in time. I'm gonna try and get a couple swipes on the driveway plowed off before I lose daylight. Last time, the thing would slide all over the place like it was on ice skates on 2 inches of snow, and we've got, we're probably looking at, with ice underneath, now probably 2 to 3 inches we've got already. I think they're calling for 6 or more tonight, so we'll see.